Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever found a show that's just so brilliantly done, so packed with detail that you actually find yourself slowing down, not binging, but really trying to savor it? Because that's exactly what's happening in Korea right now with this new Disney Plus original. It's called Fine or
Yeah.
Gagi, and the buzz is huge. People are actually like rationing episodes. When I first heard about this, I kind of thought, okay, is it really that good or is something else going on? What was your first impression when you saw that kind of unique reaction, especially for a period piece about con artists?
That's a really great point. And yeah, it highlights exactly why Find, which just landed on Disney Plus July 16th, has instantly become the show everyone's talking about in Korea. It's not just popular, it's generating this almost protective feeling from viewers and really does fly in the face of the usual binge watching we all do now.
Yeah.
And, that desire to savor it, it speaks volumes about its quality, even before we get into the details.
Exactly. So let's start right there with the title, Fine. It's not fine like okay. It's a Korean word, apparently meaning country bumpkin or country person, also a dialect term. That immediately sets a really specific kind of gritty, maybe even funny tone for the characters, right? It tells you straight away these aren't your usual suave criminals.
It absolutely does. And that title choice, it was a big clue about the show's authentic feel. Speaking of authentic, the team behind this is seriously impressive. You've got director Kang Yoon-sung. He's known for the first The Outlaws movie, which was, a huge critical and box office hit, and also the drama Casino. So he's got real chops when it comes to action and crime stories. But what's really key here, and maybe why it hit so hard, is the source material. It's based on a webtoon by Yoon Tae-ho. This is the writer behind massive hits like Miss Aang and Inside Men. We're talking a masterpiece webtoon here. That kind of strong narrative foundation, complex characters already built in, that's a huge draw.
Right, a solid base to build on. And it's not just the writing or direction, the acting talent they pulled together is wow. I mean, you've got Ryu Sung-rang, Yang Se-jung, Im Soo-jung, Kim Woo-sung, who just nails every complex role he gets. It's like a masterclass. But the real curveball, the one people are really talking about, is Yoon-ho from TVXQ. Makes you think, how do all these big names and, well, the surprising addition create that special chemistry?
Yeah, that's a perfect lead into the story itself. It's set very precisely in 1977, a really pivotal, often turbulent time in modern Korean history. It follows Ryung's character, Oh Gwon-suk. He's a petty thief, but with this really specific obsession, taking memos, constantly writing things down. His nephew, Hee-dong, played by Yang Se-jung, has basically grown up learning the ropes from him. And ironically, it's Oh Gwon-suk's careful notes that actually get him thrown in jail. And that's where he meets this mysterious guy called Mr. Song. This meeting is what really sets the whole plot in motion, the core conflict, the big scam. Mr. Song tells Oh Gwon-suk about this incredible discovery, ancient Goryeo dynasty pottery found off the coast of Sinan. This kicks off a really complex grand scam, pulling in all these different petty criminals, leading to a lot of backstabbing, mostly centered around the port city of Mokpo. And Oh Gwon-suk's suspicion, right from the start, of both Mr. Song and this other powerful sort of shadowy figure, Chairman Cheon, that's what drives the initial deception. It's layered.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, and maybe goes back to that country bumpkin title. The villains. They aren't these grand, evil masterminds, They're selfish, small-time schemers, and what drives them is almost ridiculously mundane, like just wanting better food or maybe a bigger boat. It's weirdly relatable, isn't it? It kind of brilliantly takes apart the whole myth of the slick arch-villain, shows how everyday greed, even for small comforts, can fuel these epic, almost comical conflicts, like watching insects fight over a crumb, but, cinematic. And you pointed out that almost every character is shown as kind of wicked, except maybe Kim Min's character, Seonja.
Exactly. It's a fascinating way to look at human nature, actually, that the biggest messes can come from these very ordinary, self-interested motives, and the actors just run with it. Im Soo-jung plays Jung-suk, who is Chairman Cheon's wife. She is apparently phenomenal. She's got her own hidden plans, and people are raving about her perfect 70s way of speaking, a skill she apparently honed for the film Cobweb. There's supposedly a really key, very dramatic scene with her in episode 3 that hints at her character's depth, her own angle, makes you question everything. And then Yu-to, a lot of buzz around him. People are calling it his career best performance playing this local thug character. What's really striking people is his Jeolla dialect. Sounds incredibly authentic. Apparently folks are guessing his Gwangju background helps because it feels so natural. It's quite a transformation for a K-pop idol, and it adds a ton to the show's grounded feel.
That's fascinating about Yoon-ho, and it leads perfectly into another huge strength, the show's authenticity. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the historical accuracy, the gojong, in recreating the 1970s seems meticulous. You see it in the clothes, the buildings, the whole vibe. They even mention specific details like showing Mokpo or even Uido and Seoul before it became the modern district it is now. And connecting that to the era of like rapid economic growth, that whole development first mindset back then. So it's not just background dressing, is it? It feels like a window into how modern Korea was shaped. Does that level of detail ever risk, I don't know, feeling like too much? Or does it just pull you in deeper?
Oh, it absolutely pulls you in deeper. It grounds these, sometimes wild schemes in a very real, tangible world. Makes the characters' little struggles and desires feel more real. And the historical depth, it carries over into the language, too. The Jeolla dialect that's getting heaps of praise for its realism. Even the delicious chalgeo is the word they use, the way they use regional curse words. It adds this gritty authenticity. It feels less like actors reciting lines and more like you're actually listening in on real conversations from back then. And honestly, that probably goes back to Yoon Tae-ho's webtoon again, giving them such strong dialogue to work with.
So, okay, what does all this mean for the show's overall feel? Beyond the look and the talk, what about the sound? How does the music contribute to this whole 70s immersion?
Right, the music. Yeah. It's by Yoon Sang, and this is interesting. He's actually a really famous K-pop composer. Might surprise some people. But the score for Fine is described as very sophisticated, subtle. It doesn't, overwhelm the scenes. And here's a cool detail. Shows the dedication. Yoon Sang apparently spent a year learning guitar specifically for this project. Just to nail that authentic 70s sound, they're drawing comparisons to legendary Korean rock figures like Shin Jong-hyun. That kind of commitment to the sound of an era, that's pretty rare, and you can hear it.
Wow, okay. That level of dedication, director, actors, composer, it really explains a lot when we circle back to where we started. Why are people saving this show? It really seems to come down to this idea Koreans call gupsipnuenjaimi, which is like the enjoyment you get from chewing something over. Yeah. The story is dense, the characters are complex, the relationships are tangled. It's all so rich that it makes you want to go slow to think about it. It's not passive viewing at all. You feel like you need to rewatch bits, figure out motives, catch the subtleties. Maybe the genius of it is that it doesn't just hand you everything. It invites you to actually, engage with it, reflect on it, which feels rare these days.
That's a really interesting point about the pacing. Because while density is rewarding, do you think there's a risk that the slower initial buildup might lose some viewers used to, faster action?
Yeah.
Because it is true, the main pottery retrieval plot, it hasn't fully kicked into high gear by the end of episode 3. There are 11 episodes total.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's definitely not instant gratification. But I think even with that slower plot burn, the sheer density, the mildew of the story and character work makes it worth it. It's not slow because nothing's happening. It feels like it's slow because so much is happening beneath the surface. Building character, setting up the world, every conversation feels like it's layering things up for later. It almost forces you to slow down because if you zip through, you'll miss crucial stuff. So why should you, the listener, care about these petty criminals from 70s Korea and their small-time schemes? Because I think the drama offers these really profound insights into universal human desires, even the small, mundane ones, and how those little wants can snowball into huge, sometimes kind of funny conflicts. It's a really compelling look at the human condition, just through this very specific cultural lens. It shows how tiny ambitions can create massive drama. It makes you think about your own little schemes, maybe.
Absolutely. It really does. It makes you consider how often these seemingly small individual drives, when they all add up, shape the bigger, often messy stories of society. It's like a microcosm.
So we've really taken a deep dive into Fine today. Looked at its unique mix of spot-on historical detail, these compellingly flawed characters, and this fresh, really human take on the crime genre. It's definitely more than just a heist show. It feels like a study of people.
And maybe it leaves you with a thought, Does chasing that quick gain, that easy score, always lead you into a deeper trap? Consider how those small-time ambitions you see in Fine, how they might actually mirror the bigger, maybe unspoken desires that shaped a whole nation back then. Or maybe even shape our own lives now, in ways we don't always see right away. Something to chew on after the credits roll.